Blast.
Nothing humbles like the National Football League, and for proof, I present our polarizing quarterback, Kyler Murray. Murray entered the NFL as a #1 overall draft pick. He was the greatest high school player in Texas State history. He is the only athlete to be selected in the first round of the NFL and MLB draft, and many believed he might become a real cross-culture pioneer like Steph Curry and Steve Nash, inspiring a new generation of undersized quarterbacks to succeed at the hardest position in sports. Entering year 7, that lofty ceiling remains out of reach. Murray has yet to win a playoff game and is playing for his job in Arizona. And sad truth is, to many, he's just another guy at the position. Now, obviously, that has to change. Murray must make a serious leap in class. He must be consistently excellent, or he might end up as a retread in New Orleans or Cleveland or Jacksonville, maybe even a backup quarterback someplace. Now, some respected national writers actually believe it's Jonathon Gannon who is on a hot seat this season, as in the case for most third-year coaches who have yet to have a winning season. But I don't believe the Cardinals head coach is under that kind of pressure. But this much is true. If Gannon were to get axed after this season, it would only happen because their starting quarterback crashed out hard in year 7. Now, Murray doesn't owe us anything, but I do think he's got a debt of gratitude with Gannon, a head coach who has strongly been in his corner from day one. And this is the time for paybacks, folks, before time is no longer an option. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Probably a little more vocal, I would say. When things aren't right, he'll speak up. So the dominant trait in his personality, he has it, and it's showed up more to me in the last couple of years, last year or so. He leads by example. He does everything right. And I would say I've seen him take a step with not just being connected with the offense, but with the entire team, which is cool.
That's Jonathon Gannon yesterday talking about where he has seen Kyler Murray take the biggest steps in leadership. I agree wholeheartedly with the gist of the blast. We had the discussion earlier, too. If you're going to, nobody wants to point out hot seats or pressure on July 25th in the NFL, but if we're going to have those conversations, I think the pressure conversation with the Cardinals starts with Kyler Murray. He's going into year 7 as a starter. You can rack your brain and say, all right, what NFL quarterback has been decent for 6 years, and then in year 7, the light bulb goes on. So along those lines, we've seen these tantalizing stretches from Kyler Murray. We've never seen it for a full season. But would you be, let's just go down that road. Let's say the light bulb goes on this year. We see 17. Not every quarterback has great games every week.
No.
Let's say 15 to 15, 16 great starts this year.
All right.
From Kyler Murray, and the win-loss record follows. Would you be shocked by that because of the rarity of that path?
No,
to get to an elite quarterback.
Listen, we've all seen it in flashes from him. He's obviously great at running with the football. His elusiveness is probably unparalleled in the NFL. We've seen those magical plays that he can come up with off schedule. We've seen how talented he is at delivering the football. So his throwing arm can be elite. I used to think he was a really good deep ball thrower. I'm not sure I've seen a lot of evidence of that recently. But if it comes out in little bits and pieces, and if it comes out over the course of quarters in games, then it's there. How do you harness it? How do you make it a full-time thing? How do you be consistently excellent? And it's fascinating because that ceiling, that high end of Kyler Murray, it's MVP caliber stuff, which is why he's shown up in MVP tracking lists on a couple of times in his career already. Now, he hasn't lasted there, but he's flashed as one. So that's really the conundrum here. How do you get him to do this consistently? And then you wonder, can he do it consistently? Is his size ultimately going to prevent him from being the quarterback that we all hoped he would be?
Yeah.
And that's also a possibility as well. I'm just going to say this again because this is honest to God's truth. Kyler Murray, at the fact that the whole football world, and we know because we were in Indianapolis for this, the whole football world revolved around his measurement. And oh my goodness, how tall is he? Is he 5'8"? Is he 5'10"? How tall is this kid? And then when he checked in where he checked in, it was like, okay, he's close enough to Russell Wilson. He's close enough to Drew Brees. We can draft him now. And the Cardinals did. And at that point in time, like I said, there's not a lot of athletes who are great while being undersized at their position. I mentioned Steph Curry. I mentioned Steve Nash. This applies to Steph Curry more than Steve Nash, but Steve Nash did inspire a generation of point guards, including Steph Curry. This is what Kyler Murray, how he was viewed when he came into the NFL, that if this kid really conquers the NFL the way he conquered college football, the way he conquered baseball, if he really pulls this off, he is going to inspire an entire nation. He's going to become a Disney spokesperson. That's how big this kid is. He's gonna pitch Coke. That's how big this kid is gonna become. And I believe
drink.
Yeah, the drink, folks. So to me, I think that is that ceiling still there? It's a little late in the game for him now. It's a little late in the game for him to kind of spin into that kind of player where he is now, Patrick Mahomes, but smaller. But we've seen it in bits and pieces. So how do you get it out of him consistently? That is that's been the entire mandate of this coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of grand things that you just brought up, and look, if he does reach that level, yes, I think those things would follow. But I like to use examples. I like to use history. We're in the middle of a baseball season where the Arizona Diamondbacks have played 103 games, and how many times have we said over the course of these last few weeks, they are what they are. They're showing you what they are.
I know.
We've got 6 years of experience with Kyler Murray that he is a decent middle-of-the-road NFL starting quarterback. Can you get to the playoffs with a middle-of-the-road quarterback? Absolutely. Teams do it every year.
But can you win a Super Bowl with him?
Can you win a Super Bowl? That's a different story.
And they got to the playoffs with him,
Yes.
and then they almost got to the playoffs again with him.
The list of teams that have won the Super Bowl with middle-of-the-road or less starting quarterbacks, you can name them up top
We all
of your head.
exactly. We all know
It's
them.
Brad Johnson. It's Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
It's guys like that.
No, Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, although he was pretty damn good when the Ravens won. But what did those teams also have? They had spectacular units elsewhere.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right.
So that's where the onus comes on the defense. And maybe we should be talking about pressure on Nick Rollis.
Well, no, you're right. That's true because Trent Dilfer, Ravens defense, Brad Johnson, it was Brad Johnson who played for Tampa when they won.
When they beat the Raiders.
Incredible defense. So maybe that's what they're thinking.
But to your point, too, and you said once upon a time you thought Kyler Murray was an elite deep ball thrower. The numbers bared that out. But I referenced Josh Norris's stats on Marvin Harrison Jr. on tight window throws. He also quoted in that same post on X, Rich Rebar from Sharp Football Analysis. Kyler Murray last year had only 7 passing conversions on 3rd and 7 or more last year. 7.
Wow.
One more than Deshaun Watson and the same number as Michael Penix Jr., who played only in a handful of games.
Wow.
So
that's obviously an area of improvement.
Got to get better.
Yeah,
but it
has
also
to.
goes hand in hand with methodology and design on the offensive side of the ball.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.